Namaste and hi friends, it's Revati here with Visionary Veda, bringing you your Vedic Astrology report for this new moon happening on the 11th or the 12th of April, depending on where you are in this beautiful, wonderful world. So, let's get started. What is happening? We have this beautiful new moon happening in the Vedic sidereal sign of Pisces. Now, today when I'm recording this is the 10th of April, and actually it's a very important day because today Venus is transiting from its exaltation point into the sign of Mars. And I'll talk about the significance of that in a little bit. But it's important to just know that Venus is in Gandanta today, meaning it's in a point of instability. So just be aware of your relationships today. If there's any sort of confusion or arguments or disappointments, don't take them too strongly to heart. Just know that Venus is in Gandanta. In the next couple of days it will be out, okay? I think it's out of Gandanta when the full moon happens, or just coming out of Gandanta. Now not the full moon, the new moon. Now, the new moon is happening on April 11th or 12th, depending on where you are, and it's in the sidereal Nakshatra of Revati Nakshatra. It is the last nakshatra of the 27. So it's a really potent moon for letting go. It's the nakshatra. It's a very soft nakshatra. It's a gentle nakshatra. The deity of this nakshatra is known by the name of Pushan. Pushan is depicted as the shepherd who is guiding his flock back home after a long day of frolicking around. So it's analogous to the end of something, the end of traversing the entire zodiac. Now, as you guys know that have been following my channel, as soon as the water signs end, right, in the zodiac, the fire signs start. And that point, right in between the water and the fire signs, are known as the Gandanta points. Now, this is an unstable point. Why is that? Because the water element and the fire element are very different elements. You don't need me to tell you that, right? So, water puts out fire, fire dries up water. And so for the planets, while they're going through the zodiac, right, when they're going on their little trip around the zodiac belt, when they get to the water, especially Pisces, because Pisces is such deep water, it's like the ocean. And then it goes into Aries, which is it's like the spark of life. It gets a little bit discombobulated, right? Because it's used to being in Pisces, and especially Venus, because Venus is exalted in Pisces. So it's very comfortable in Pisces. It shines very bright in Pisces. Now, while Venus is going through this Gandanta point today, it is still combust. Today is April the 10th. It's still combust. It's going to be combust until the 16th or the 17th. That's also when Mercury is going to be moving into the sign of Aries. So that day, Venus comes out of combustion, but then Mercury goes into Gandanta. So that also might be a little bit of a day of confusion, misunderstandings. You know, I find that the Gandanta point between Pisces and Aries is not as harsh as the Gandanta point between Scorpio and Sagittarius, right? Because those are very intense signs as well. You know, like really affecting our subconscious, Scorpio, and then really affecting our belief systems, Sagittarius. So those could be rude awakenings. But between Pisces and Aries, it's like we're finally letting something go. We're finally going home to rest under the guidance of our benevolent shepherd, Pushan, right? Bringing us home. and we're letting things go, and we've done a great day's work, a great job, and we're ready to go home and relax. And all of a sudden, boom, we got to jump on our feet again and start something new. So that could get a little bit confusing. Maybe things in your life that you're wanting to put to rest and complete, but also something new you want to start and you're feeling excited about that. So both of those energies, they're kind of a little bit opposite, right? So it can cause a little bit, but not too much confusion, turmoil, maybe a little bit of exhaustion, because Revati, right? The ending of the zodiac. So we are going to have the sun and the moon conjunct in Revati for this new moon. So also mentally, when the moon is new, you all know that the mind is not at its brightest, right? And because it's happening so close to the next sign, it's not the strongest moon, but it's okay. It's the time for us to relax a little bit. Maybe take stock of everything that we've done up until this point. Have a little bit of a review on what are some things that we can really clear out. If you've started your spring cleanse or haven't started your spring cleanse, it's also a good day to put an end to whatever needs putting an end to. A finalization, a letting go of energies, people, relationships, thoughts, behaviors that we want to let go of so that we can spring into Aries without being so encumbered or held back by the past. All right? So that is going to do it for my new moon report today. Just know that today Venus is going through the Gandanta point and will be in Aries. Okay, let me talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it short. Anyway, so Venus going into Aries can bring a lot of us wanting to how can I say this? The energy of being a little bit aggressive in getting what we want. It's not necessarily bad, but it's like, I am going for this in terms of relationship, money, luxuries, items. Okay, it's also going to be very powerful for healing, like getting on a new exercise regime or a health regime. 2 or 3 days after it comes out of Gandant would be a great day to start. So I would say if you want to start a new exercise regime or a health regime, start on this is off the top of my head, like the 13th or the 14th, a few days after the new moon as well, when the moon starts to wax again and Venus is out of Gandant. Why is that? Because it's going to be in the the Nakshatra of Ashwini, and Ashwini is the nakshatra of health, vitality, rejuvenation, and also Ayurveda. So anyway, so that being said, just a little note there. If you're feeling it, get everything in place this weekend and start in a few days' time. It's going to be supported by the stars, all right? Mercury is also in Pisces right now. It was being supported by Venus because Venus gets exalted there. Now that Venus moves to Aries, Mercury is going to be a bit debilitated. So Mercury debilitation isn't all that bad. It just means that we get all of these wonderful sort of divine insights that's really hard for us to express, or it's difficult. If you think about it, Mercury is a very logical planet. It's a very detailed planet. How can you make a detail of the ocean? Well, you can try, but it's a little bit difficult. You can't really make categories of the ocean. It's just so vast and expansive. So it's going to be debilitated until the 16th, I believe, and then it moves into the Gandanta and moves into Aries. Okay, so Sun and Moon are going to move into Gandanta right away after this new moon. So things that you might let go of when you go into Gandant, when the moon is going to move into Gandant straight after the new moon into that zone, you might feel like, oh, I shouldn't have let that go, or you might feel a little nervous about having had let it go. You might feel a little uncomfortable. Just know that that will pass, and what you've let go of is stuff that doesn't serve you, even though we might be attached to it. Okay, again, people, places, friendships, relationships, things, actual physical things, thoughts, and behaviors. I like to use these letting go periods to really like cleanse those things within myself and outside as well that don't serve me anymore or holding me back. But again, we can get used to these things. And then when we let them go, especially with moon moving into Gandanta, we might feel a little like, oh, what did I do? But it'll be okay. And then 2 days later, on the 13th, 14th, depending on where you are, um, the sun goes into Gandanta and then gets exalted in Aries. So use this time with Venus going into Gandanta, moon going into Gandanta, the new moon. Use this few days to relax and rejuvenate and then hit the ground running, because with that sun exalted, we're going to have a lot of energy. Actually, this is the new moon that traditional Vedic astrologers would consider the new year in Vedic astrology because of that exaltation of the sun. So I hope that is helpful for those of you who would like to begin any kind of sadhana to increase the vitality of your sun, especially if you have a debilitated sun. Now, if you have an exalted sun, there's no need to do this, but people with debilitated suns and would like to generate more power to move in and to utilize these energies when sun's exalted, it's a great time after. Oh my gosh, I almost didn't even mention Navratri. Okay, I will. I'm glad I remembered. So after this new moon is a great time to start doing the Gayatri mantra. And that brings in the energies of the sun, Gayatri. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonaha Prachodayat Om. Okay, sorry, I mangled that just a bit, but also, least I can't believe I almost forgot this. I need to start making better notes. It is the start of Navaratri. This is very important. Okay, I'm going to spend a few minutes to talk about this. This happens twice a year, in the fall and the spring. Navratri is the 9 nights of the goddess, right? And maybe I should make a whole separate video on Navratri. But in India, this is when we venerate and pray and worship the goddess Durga, Kali, and Lakshmi, right? So the tamasic form, Kali, the rajasic form, Durga Ma, and then the sattvic form, Lakshmi or Saraswati. Actually, more Saraswati, not Lakshmi, because Lakshmi has to do with wealth. And that's still a little bit rajasic, right? Whereas Saraswati is knowledge. So that is purity. So that starts on the 12th, on the new moon, as long as the first bathing day in the Kumbh Mela. So if you're around a river or a body of water and you want to do any kind of a ritual for this new moon, it's a great ritual to invoke the goddess. It's a great day to do a cleansing, purification ritual in any body of moving water. And also, because we're still in Pisces, and also a great day to, a few days later, when the moon starts to wax, begin any kind of a new sort of sadhana. You can also do it on the new moon, but usually, traditionally, we like to see the moon waxing a little, right? So that light is being gained. All right. I'm glad I remembered that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Happy new moon. It's a beautiful time for new beginnings, a beautiful time, sorry, for letting go. So that being said, enjoy the life, enjoy this new moon, and until next time, take care of yourself. All right. Namaste. Bye-bye.